I must not be the only one who thinks about apocalypse a lot. Maybe you thought about it too. At least once you've discussed with your friends. What would you do? How could you contribute? How would you survive? I actually wish for it sometimes. I seek out games that revolve around survival and watched all the Walking Dead seasons and spin offs, and still I crave more. Not just from that universe, from every single one. Doesn't matter if it's a zombie apocalypse or a post nuclear war, I just want to see more and more. Like my favorite dad's joke: Doctor, could you please give me some medication from greed? But could you add a little more? What I'm saying is, I'm not the only one who feels like that. And the more and more I dig into it, I start to understand why. I keep coming back to post apocalyptic shows, not because of the survival, the creatures, or the empty world. Most of what I love is the sense of community that people have in them. If you watch The Walking Dead, you know that most of the show revolves around relationships, family, and community, instead of mainly survival. A random ass woman who's being abused by her husband would never become best friends with a random redneck who is emotionally unavailable and mean most of the time. All of those people in the show wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for the apocalypse. And that, I feel, is what is missing. In today's day and age, it's hard to trust people. It's hard to even make friends, and even if you do, half of them are through the internet, which doesn't feel the same. There is so much complexity in trusting and befriending someone that it's hard to even wish to have more than one or two friends. In the apocalypse, though, there's no gossip, there's no what are your political views. There's just wish for survival. And you will have to cooperate with one another to survive. And you will have to trust them, help them, work with them to do so. You'll always be close and you will protect each other. And no matter your beliefs, for the most part, you will become close. That sense of community has vanished throughout the years as cities got bigger, apartment buildings rose up from the ground. We have become more separated from each other, more distant, more closed off. There's a reason why people back in the day used to live in small villages. There was a mutual dependence among members and they felt deeply and personally responsible for everyone in that community. We are meant to live like that. Our whole existence and evolution started because we worked together and tried to express what we want and need, and we helped each other. But now, as the population hit 8 billion, we are even more separated. There's so many people to choose from that so many complexities come into the equation because there's more of us. We have more things that separate us, like class, business, beliefs, genders, race, culture. It's easy to get lost in the 8 billion people on this planet, but reduce the population by, say, 7.8 billion or more, and suddenly your life becomes objectively and undeniably important. People depend on each other, and what they do matters a lot. And we yearn for that closeness we cannot achieve through all the nuances. Forgive me for this one, but you know what I'm gonna say next. Capitalism. By the way, I am not a socialist or communist or anarchist or whatever else you might call me. I'm really not. I just don't understand how we can live in a society under an economic system that hurts so many people and only benefits a few. But moving on from that one, once again, life as it is now has evolved so much from our nature that it's hard not to want it to end. So many people want a simpler scavenger lifestyle free from the complexities of modern life, especially if those complexities are meaningless. For example, our jobs. In a book called Bullshit Job, a Theory, anthropologist David Graeber wrote that a majority of jobs today are meaningless, unnecessary, and even harmful on a social and on an individual level. Whether or not you think it's true, many people work not because they find meaning in working, but because they have to. We have to make money to survive. To make money, we have to slave 40 hours a week or more. Wake up, be a slave, turn your brain off, and stare at the screen. Go to sleep, and the cycle repeats. I'm not saying that all of us have to go through this, but if you grew up in a middle class or lower income family, at least first 5 years of your adult life will be selling your body, not literally of course, to make money, to survive. So of course people who are exhausted of the cycle will want a change. But there's not a lot of options for a change out there. So they dream of an apocalypse. Besides the job part, for a lot of people, society is hard. They don't fit in. Taxes, etiquette, politics, social standards, bureaucracy. It's all so much to keep track of and do right. You know what's simple though? Survival. You can either fight and live or die. Wandering and searching and defending yourself seems so easy. You do what you have to do to live. Instead of because how life is now, I have to worry about how I act and how much money I have, or if I filled out the forms right. But of course, in reality, it would suck to survive the apocalypse, but the thought of only having one thing to focus on makes it easy for me, and I'm guessing other people, to digest. Another factor in all of this, and I hope I'm not the only one who feels like this, but I feel alienated from life as a human. I think what I'm craving is not an apocalypse but a clean slate. Starting off new, rebuilding everything, building your own house in your own land, farming for yourself to survive, having control over your own life and destiny. Working without a stop is easier when we work for ourselves and not a huge company which just wants more profits and to expand their business. That is why people are so drawn to games like Stardew Valley. It reflects this yearning as the player character leaves their corporate job to become a farmer. Yeah, farming is hard work and comes with inconveniences, sure, but it's easier to recognize our own individual contribution to our own survival than it is to a big company. Human society and civilization today just has so many issues that are so very complex, and it seems hopeless to try to fix it. There's 2 wars happening at the moment, and global warming is just getting worse by the day. Scientists predict that we won't have any clean water soon. And there's too many selfish, greedy idiots in power doing everything they can to make sure these problems don't get addressed. There's even people that deny global warming and treat it as a conspiracy theory. But the apocalypse feels like a second chance or a clean slate. All these horrible problems gone. But if we survive, and everyone who hopes for an apocalypse imagine they'd survive, it would feel like there is hope for us to go on. And not just go on, but go on without all of these issues. It feels more promising and easier to destroy or watch as society is destroyed and crawl out of the ashes than to struggle seemingly in vain to solve its problems while it stands. I bet if there wasn't as much corruption and injustice and issues in the world right now, we would not like the idea of post-apocalypse at all. We are powerless and we don't know the answers because we forgot to even ask ourselves the questions. We pretend that our life has a strong foundation and disregard the fears, anxieties, and shadows of confusion which never leave our side. For some people, the answer to all of this fear is religion. For some, it's a wish for an end, a strive to escape the unbearable doubt in a search for safety. In conclusion, we all have our ways to deal with the doubts and fears of life. Some choose religion, some choose ignorance, and some choose to fantasize and consume media about the apocalypse. What we all have in common is the fear and the feeling of hopelessness and loneliness. The society we live in was not made for us, and our mind is fighting with reality one way or another. Also, if you have some TV shows, movies, games, anything about the post-apocalypse, please share that juicy information with me because I just finished watching the HBO's The Last of Us and I'm craving more. But besides that, thank you for watching and bye.